Hey guys, remember FOIL? F stands for first, where you multiply the first terms. O is outer, I is inner, and L is last, where you multiply your last terms. FOIL was a way for us to simplify expressions like this. So this video is about factoring, which is a way to undo FOIL. Let's talk about where each part of this expression comes from so that we can factor it. The first term, 2x squared, comes from the f part of FOIL, where we would multiply the first times first. For this example, 2x times x. The middle part comes from the OI part of FOIL, where we multiplied outer and inner. And the last part, negative 15, that comes from the last terms, where we would multiply the last terms in the parentheses. So let's use our knowledge of FOIL to factor this polynomial. So I'm going to set up my two sets of parentheses, and I'm going to start thinking about what everything represents. Now, when we factor using our knowledge of FOIL, we're going to go in the order I wrote here. We'll think about our first term, our last term, and then our outer and inner part last. So first, I'm thinking about what numbers could I multiply to give me 2x squared. So that one's easy, 2x times x. Now we're thinking about the last term, factors of 15. I'm thinking 5 and 3. Okay, now I'm going to check. I guessed with F and L. Now I'm going to check by multiplying my outer and inner parts to see how I can get negative 7. So I'll do x times 3, 2x times 10, or 2x times 5, sorry. And then if you think about that, 3 and 10, if 10 were negative and 3 were positive, we could get negative 7 from that. And you guys might hear my cat being wild. Sorry about that. All right, so I put my negative in there for the 5 so I can make 10 negative and a positive in there in front of the 3. Let's do another one. So again, we're thinking about FOI and where all the parts come from, FOIL. Okay, gonna look at my first term to figure out my first terms in the parentheses and last terms to figure out the last parts. First term is x squared, and that one's easy. X times x gives us x squared. Next part is 18. I'm thinking 6 times 3, 9 times 2. Let's try 6 and 3 first. Okay, so now we're going to check with OI by multiplying the inside and the outside. 6x, 3x. We got to think to ourselves, is there any way we can get 11, the OI part, from 6x and 3x? And the answer is no, we can't. Even if we add them, that'll give us 9. If we subtract them, that'll give us 3. If we make one negative and one positive, we still end up with just negative 3. So that's not going to work. 6 and 3 won't work. Even if I were to swap them around and put a 6 at the end and 3 at the beginning, we'd still end up with the same thing. So we're going to need to test out another number. Let's try 9 times 2. See if 9 was here, 2 was here, check with OI. 9x and 2x. Is there any way we can get 11 from that? 11x? Yeah, if we add both of those numbers, we'll get 11x. So put a plus and a plus, and there it is. There's the factors for this polynomial. All right, let's try one more. All right, so for this last one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at our first term, our last term, and then we'll keep outer inner for the last part so we can check. All right, so the first term, I'm thinking 6x times x. And then for the last term, to get negative 10, we've got options. Let's try 5 and 2, and let's see what happens. Okay, so now I'm checking with outer inner multiplication. We gotta think to ourselves, is there any way we can get that OI part -7 from 2x and 30x? I'm not thinking. So even if we subtracted the two numbers, we still wouldn't get -7. So let's try now with switching around the 5 and 2. Maybe let's put the 5 on the left side and the 2 on the right side. Okay, let's check outer inner. We got 5x, 12x, and we got to think to ourselves, is there any way we can get -7 from that? And the answer is, yeah, we can. If we make 12x negative and 5x positive. So 5 should be positive, and -12 means that -2 over there should be negative. So there's our last factors. And that's how you factor, guys.